Hello and welcome to this special football edition of Spectrum 360. I'm Sarah DiNatale here with senior sports editor Tom Dinky. You may have caught our preview of the season in our special football issue on Friday, and as you can see now, we're reporting from UB Stadium, and it's a little empty. But come Saturday at 3:30, fans are going to be filling the stands, and the Bulls are going to take on Duquesne. Going into that game, Tom, going into a new season, what can we expect from the Bulls?
Well, obviously, this team had unprecedented success last season, getting just their second ever bowl game. A lot of the key pieces from that team were seniors, though, most notably Khalil Mack. There's lots of question marks on this team heading into the season. It's going to be interesting to see how Jeff Quinn and his staff have kind of developed some of those younger guys and how those young, unproven players are going to perform when they get on the field.
So I know you had the opportunity to see Jeff Quinn and some of the other players at Media Day a couple weeks ago. Coming off that experience, what can we expect?
Well, the players were confident that they're going to be able to step up into those roles of those departed seniors. Quinn was adamant that this isn't going to be a rebuilding season, that the team is motivated to get the first back-to-back winning season since they joined Division One.
It'll be exciting to see how these guys come together. Yeah, it's a no-name team. I get that. You know, they don't have the Khalils and the Bows, but these kids, they're going to represent themselves and what those guys built. And they don't want to. We're not moving backwards. We're moving forward. And I can see that every single day when we're out there.
The Bulls are returning a key player in junior quarterback Joe Licata. Licata led the team last year in its winning season, and he started every game.
Yeah, and Licata is critical to this team. Last season, he had the running game to rely on and some veteran wide receivers. This year, he's not going to have those same security blankets. He's going to be thrown to a host of unproven guys, but Licata's confident in his chemistry with those guys, and he thinks they'll almost be more efficient this season because he's going to be throwing it to a variety of guys and not just a few.
I think losing those seniors is going to be tough for us to replace, but I think it kind of takes the pressure off of forcing the ball to one guy or two guys when we've got a lot more playmakers this year. And so I'm going to be able to spread the ball out and give those guys different opportunities. You know, my job as a quarterback is to get the ball in the playmakers' hands, and that's what I'm going to have to do.
So, Tom, who are some of the receivers Licata's going to have to rely on this season?
Well, that's a good question. Last season, there was basically just two receivers that really got involved in the offense. This season, it's going to be a bunch of different guys. I think the Bulls are going to rely a lot more on their tight ends this season. Bulls have two pretty solid tight ends in Mason Streck and Matt Weiser. They also have Boyce Ross, who can be a deep threat for Licata. Marcus McGill, who's a big, strong receiver, who can kind of be that red zone threat. There's also senior Devin Hughes. He probably has the most experience out of the group. Hughes said he's confident that they're going to be able to step up into those roles, and they're kind of modeling themselves after those departed receivers, and they hope to match their production.
They were very consistent in what they did, and they caught a lot of passes, and our goal is to surpass what they did. We had some big shoes to fill, but I think we'll fill them.
Fans are probably used to seeing one running back get all the carries in former Bull Brandon Oliver, but going into this season, things are going to be a little different.
Yes, Sarah. All three guys are probably going to get involved in the offense. They have running backs Anthony Taylor, Jordan Johnson, and Devin Campbell, and all three guys kind of bring something different to the table. Jordan Johnson, this is going to be his first year actually playing on the team. He's kind of an explosive playmaker. We kind of saw his explosive playmaking ability in the team's blue and white spring game. Devin Campbell is an excellent receiver out of the backfield. He really only got work as a receiver last year, but he figures to get more carries this season. And Anthony Taylor, he was the primary backup last season. Quinn said he really sees Taylor as the number one back, and he's kind of emerged above the pack. Taylor doesn't necessarily feel like he has the starting job locked down, however.
And I work like the next guy could be the starter, and I don't necessarily believe I'm the starter. I just come out there and I work hard, and I try to establish that presence that when the coach knows when it comes game time, the coach knows that I worked hard enough to be the starter, and these young guys push me to work as hard as I do on the field, and it could be anybody out there starting.
Obviously, there's a huge hole in the defense this year with the loss of Khalil Mack, who was drafted number 5 overall in the NFL. Tom, can you take us through the defense now going into this season?
Well, this defense was very successful last year, and they do still return some key pieces, like linebacker Lee Skinner, defensive tackle Christian Sicoli, and cornerback Courtney Lester. Jarrett Franklin, he's a sophomore. He's going to be taking over from Mack at that outside linebacker position. He said it's really up to the defense as a whole to make up for that production from last year.
Honestly, I don't see it as trying to replace him. I feel like the entire defense, we all have to step up as a unit to replace all of the defensive players that we've lost. So how I look at it is, even though we lost, some pass rush, we lost some people in the backfield, we lost some people in the secondary. We just know that as a unit, we have to step up, and I feel like that actually makes us as a stronger defense because we know that we don't have the big playmakers.
The Bulls broke attendance records last season, and this year they're going to have 7 home games instead of the usual 6. Again, the games are going to be accented by the Tailgate Series, a series of concerts that are happening out in the parking lots before the games, and they're going to include country acts such as Easton Corbin. I think that extra game is going to give the Bulls an advantage this year.
No, it will. But one of those games is going to be against nationally ranked Baylor. That's obviously going to provide a huge challenge to the Bulls. Some other challenging games on the schedule, they're going to be at the road against Bowling Green, who defeated the Bulls in what was essentially a Mackey's championship game last season.
Tom, knowing all that, what are your predictions going into this season?
Well, I think the defense is going to take a step back. Now, what matters is, can the offense overcome the defense taking a step back? I just don't think that Joe Licata has the weapons he's going to need to move the ball effectively. So overall, I think the team is going to go 6-6 on the season and 4-4 in the MAC, and I think they're going to fall short of their bowl aspirations.
We asked some other Spectrum sports editors what they thought.
Yes, my name's Owen O'Brien, and I'm here with Andy Connick and Jordan Grossman, and we're here to talk 2014 Buffalo Bulls football. Andy, what's your expectations for this upcoming season?
I think the team's going to go 8-4 with a MAC record of 6-2. I think the team's really going to rally behind head coach Jeff Quinn this season, especially after last year's Idaho Potato Bowl appearance. One player in particular that I'm going to be looking out for is Jared Franklin. With the absence of Khalil Mack, the linebackers are really going to have to step up this year, and I think he's a player that's going to really shut down the opposing offense this season.
Okay, and now, how about you, Jordan? Are your expectations equally as high as Andy has for this team?
Oh, and I agree with Andy. I've been talking with Coach Jeff Quinn a lot, and he's saying that his entire team's all in. He's thinking that every player has the potential to fill out their maximum talent this year. I'm thinking we're going to watch one person, senior defensive tackle Christian Zakoli. He's going to be exactly what Colby White did for the defensive line last year. He's at 6'6", over 300 pounds, and he runs a 4.7 40. And I believe he's going to disrupt that line just like he did last year. Guys, watch out for him.
And I'm expecting about a 500 season, 6-6, including 4-4 in MAC play. I think Buffalo can possibly do better, and one game to keep an eye on is the second game of the season at Army. If Buffalo can pull that upset out, that can totally change the course this season. For Andy Connick and Jordan Grossman, I'm Owen O'Brien. Back to you guys.
Well, that's it for this special football edition of Spectrum 360.
Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to check at ubspectrum.com for more videos throughout the week, and be sure to pick up the paper every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.